welcome to another episode of Geek Master. As always, I am your honorable host, Cassius Samuels, aka the Mac Daddy of all things geek. I'm back in action today, ready to give you guys my review of the new Robin, Son of Batman, issue number 1 as it debuts June 17th, 2015, which chronicles events surrounding the son of the Bat and Demon, Damian Wayne, as he sets out on his own to forge his own destiny after the supposed death of Bruce Wayne, so that he may make amends for the shameful year of blood as he aspires to one day assume the mantle of Batman. As always, keep in mind that in order for me to do an in-depth analysis of this issue, I'm going to have to discuss intimate details of the plot. So if you are not into spoilers and you have not read the comic, don't even bother listening any further to this review. Come back after you've read it for yourself. So as the comic opens, we see Damian in Beulah, a fictional country set in the DC universe that used to get some love in the pre-52 universe, which is located in the Middle East, north of Iran and Saudi Arabia. In the pre-52, it was a country ruled over by the Queen Bee, but it seems that now in the new 52, there has been a change of leadership, as we see some obese man named Bush, who claims to be the son of 1,000 kings, sitting on a throne with Damian's pet Man-Bat in chains behind him. At this point, we see the new ruler admonishing Damian for his pet's action, which have resulted in the death of several livestock on his lands. But it appears that he is only using this as an excuse to kidnap the Man-Bat, since it's painfully obvious to Damian that the guy likes to collect exotic pets. Nonetheless, the ruler of Beulah maintains his ruse as he informs Damian that he has already decided to destroy the beast, and lets it be known that he's not happy that the fact Damian bothered to show up without any type of restitution to offer in regards to the damages that his pet caused. Not one to let someone come at him talking sideways. My dude Damian talks a little trash of his own, as you typically expect him to do these days, and the Bush is none too pleased by his insolence. From there, he tells Damian that he will fight his son in an arena match the next day, and after he repays his debts through battle, he will be accepted as his son to serve in the palace. Of course, Damian isn't having any of that bullshit, and he tells him that this is his last chance to free Goliath. He also lets him know that if he fails to comply, that he will feel the wrath of Batman's son in full force. And when the Bush continues to bicker, Damian just smashes his teeth down his throat. Something marvelous. I personally love Damian and consider him my second favorite Robin after Dick Grayson for this reason right here. He tries to do things the right way, but when these criminals and these morally depraved individuals don't want to cooperate, he just gives them what they deserve, and I love it. After the story's introduction, the issue kind of starts to hop around in time, from earlier periods that show Damian training in the Batcave before going to bed and receiving a call that his pet Goliath had escaped, to some point in time where we see the aquatic tomb of Morgan Ducard, a man who killed his own mother as the son of Henry Ducard, a world-renowned assassin who trained Bruce back in the day when Bruce was traveling the world looking for skills that he would later use to become Batman. As a result of this, Morgan developed an early hatred and resentment of Bruce that was fueled by jealousy, which led him to eventually resurface in the Batman Incorporated comics when he takes the name Nobody and attacks Bruce Wayne's legacy as Batman once Bruce decides to publicly fund the Caped Crusaders' efforts. The last time we see Morgan is at the end of a showdown between himself and the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin, at which time Damian loses control and in a fit of rage kills Morgan with the finger sword strike to the forehead. What we see in this part of the story is that apparently Morgan had a daughter, and she has found his mask and downloaded some footage from the last moments of his life on Earth, and she decides to go on a mission to avenge her father by killing Damian Wayne after watching this footage. And we see her using some pretty cool cloaking technology that she uses to pulverize a couple of Gotham City police officers before disappearing from the scene. From there, we jump back to Damian as he's called back to Al Ghul Island to investigate the disappearance of his pet Man-Bat Goliath. After crashing his bat plane and exchanging a few words with Ravi, who I assume is his trusted butler of some kind similar to Alfred, we see him retrieve some kind of tribal-esque whistle from a subterranean chamber that appears to be on board a submarine. More time hopping kicks in as we suddenly flash forward back to the present as Damian continues to engage Bush and his men in combat inside the palace of Beulah, We see Damian blow the whistle. He retrieved from Al Ghul Island, and this sends Goliath into full beast mode as he hulks out and frees himself from his restraints as he charges through a wall and takes flight with Damian on his back, who instructs him to take him home before almost falling to his death after passing out as a result of the man-bat flying too high in the sky. While he's passed out, we see Damian dreaming about his mother's grave, where we see Dick Grayson show up, and he begins taunting Damian about death and how he doesn't believe what he said to Bruce about not seeing anything after he died, despite all the terrible things he's done in his life. Then out of nowhere, we see Bruce appear, and he begins to berate Damian about something referred to as the Year of Blood, which Damian refuses to elaborate on, as we see Bruce get impaled by the heretic from behind, which causes the dream to spiral out of control as Damian is flung down the bottomless grave of his mother and arrives in hell, where he is taunted by a devil-like demonic apparition. At this point, he wakes up in a cold sweat with foreboding resolve that he wishes to use in order to atone for his mistakes as an Al Ghul, so he can go forward in his life as a Wayne with a clear conscience, unburdened by the weight of the past. The issue goes on to show us a trophy room full of trinkets and treasures that represent the Year of Blood that Damian would like to virtuously remunerate for. And the segment wraps up with Goliath and Damian deciding their first move, as we see the daughter of Morgan Ducad lurking in the shadows, aided by her elusive cloaking technology. And as the issue itself comes to a close, on the final page, who do we see? Talia Al Ghul is somehow alive and living a vagrant life in the Arctic wilderness of Nanda Parbat, where she is attacked by some weird woman spouting a bunch of gibberish about somebody or something rising from the pit, which I can only assume has something to do with the infamous Lazarus Pit. Overall, as a big fan of Damian as Robin, I liked the issue for the most part, as the story from Patrick Gleason was certainly entertaining, but on the downside, it kind of requires a long memory and deep knowledge of the main character to fully appreciate. Thankfully, there is a such thing as Google for any fan who would like to jump in on this #1 and fill in the gaps of continuity quickly so they are not lost as they try to keep up with the story. To me, this #1 issue was better than average, but not elite as far as concise storytelling goes. The time hop stuff kind of makes the issue hard to digest the first time through, unless you're super familiar with the history of Damian Wayne as Robin, and I feel like that kind of took away from the story cohesion, generally speaking. In other words, those of us who have been keeping tabs with Damian since his inception will find a lot to be pleased with in this issue, but those unfamiliar with Damian's story and his background, including those that take place after the New 52 reboot, will leave a lot of readers having difficulty connecting with the primary elements that fuel this first issue. I'm going to give this issue a solid 7 out of 10. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this video to a close. If you found any value in this video, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Facebook at The Geek Master. I try to put out at least one video a week, so if you want to stay up to date with all things comic, subscribe to the channel, you fucks. I will see you guys next time, and I'm out. Deuces!